Hello, bonjour.
Hey guys, my name is Rish, and in today's episode, we are meeting a very humorous and funny person who is my brother, and I love his sense of humor, as I myself crack lame jokes all the time. His name is Jules Haxaire.
How to make a cookie. This is Jules, your French chef. Today we're gonna make a cookie.
And he comes from France. He's a chef and he's an incredible artist when it comes to food. He's currently working as a chef in one of the best vegan restaurants in Auckland City. Jules is sharing his journey with food and divine and what he thinks about spirituality, God. So without wasting any time, let's start the conversation.
Brainstorm with Rish.
So hey guys, we are in Jules' kitchen and we are watching Jules making cookies. So I'm introducing today one of my very close friends here in Auckland, and by profession he's a chef, but he's a deep thinker and philosopher as well. Which is a joke.
Well, I never had any education. I quit school around 18 years old. I had a year left and I came back. I did 3 years of absolutely dreadful school of cuisine in France. That was not the worst you can get, but that was pretty low. So yeah, and
So I'll ask you like where you come from, how you started cooking, and how you get interested into
making food.
making food.
So basically, like my dad was a chef, and when I arrived at 18 years old, I didn't have any passion in life. I didn't know what to do, so I just decided, it's like, I'm gonna do the same things as my dad. I should have done, like, if I could change, I would change. But I really enjoy cooking.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like become a habit, and after you just enjoy to do it. You know? It's really good for the brain too, like the mind. It's just like preparing something, and it's really sensual. You know, when you grab food and things like this, it's really nice. So yeah, that's how I came about. And I'm not born in France. I'm born in New York. Maybe.
You were born in New York?
I'm born in New York. You didn't know that one.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, in '94. So how old are you, by the way?
Don't ask.
Don't ask. Yeah, you just don't want to tell.
Camera.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, you're
So when you went to France-
you're sending that to the girls, you know, so you don't want any information about you, you know, like.
Stop saying that.
They're like, stop here, like. Yeah.
So, you were born in New York. So when you went to France.
I think I was not even 1 year old.
Oh, okay.
So basically, I'm more French than American.
So you learned cooking by seeing your father in France, and then you started making.
A little bit,
dishes.
but more of it was like my experience that I had in different restaurants, and so at schools and things like that, the basic.
Yeah, but currently you're working in one of the vegan restaurants, which is one of the best vegan restaurants in Auckland. So how you started entering into, like, you became vegetarian and now you're working in a vegan restaurant. So why that shift happened? Why you thought about being vegetarian and started working for a vegan restaurant?
Well, at the beginning I was vegetarian because it was cool, you know, and after, I started to be a Hare Krishna, and so that became actually a philosophy of life. And I could not see myself touch meat unless I'm starving and I want to eat something and like I'm dying. That would be like no pity. I would just eat the rabbit raw. But yeah, just like I could not see myself doing anything, and the Lord was really merciful by allowing me to find a job where I could like continue this philosophy and not go against my principle. So because I really wanted to stay in New Zealand, but I was like no, I'm not opening any dead animal, you know.
Now after
your tea, man.
Oh yeah, thanks. So that's a rooibos tea. It's called rooibos?
Rooibos, yeah, red boys. That's pretty good. That's good for what you have.
Perfect. So how you came into becoming more aware, like when you became Hare Krishna and you joined an ashram as well.
Yeah.
And then you met a lot of like your friends or male gang members of Hare.
Like the gang of Otahu guys, no.
Yeah. And then how you started becoming more conscious about, you know, like your life decisions, and maybe you became more responsible in life. The training would have really helped.
That, like, seriously, the ashram was really helpful. It was a real time of that was a full year and a half where I could like really think about my life, because I have to say, like, from my birth to 18 years old, I was just like you know, the wind would take me left, I would go left. The wind take me right, I would go right. You know, I had no decision at all, no choice. I'm exaggerating because I made my decision, but I had no really conscious awareness of really my life and what I was doing. And yeah, I started to think about it, and at first I didn't know what kind of decision, you know. Suddenly you had the power, but no experience in life, you know, not the things that I like it to do. So it was really like just pushing me right and left, and like the Lord got really merciful, because he dragged me all along, prepared myself by passing me through. I started travel in Asia. I did like 1 year in Australia, and Australia was actually like a quite an interesting spiritual path over there, because basically Australia was like a real purifying time of my life, because all my assumption got really like destroyed basically. And when I arrived in Auckland,
so what happened there? Like how you met someone, or?
No, it was basically, I thought that the word was the thing was like you are in life to enjoy, basically, you know, just have a good time, sex, drug, rock and rolls and girls, you know. And when I arrived in Australia, I actually got that, and I was more desperate and empty than before. You know, I felt like, yeah, let's go, you know, like girls and drugs, and I took an amount of drugs, even me thinking right now, I'm just like, what the hell was, like, I was completely insane, because I passed from a guy just smoking pot to taking like MDMA and LSD in 3 days in a row, you know, just like, you can do worse, I'm pretty sure, but, and I finished that and I was completely empty, you know, and I didn't have any realization before, and suddenly I realized, like, man, that's not the life that I want. Why am I so empty? You know, I got what the society pushed forward, you know, and I was not really interested in material things. I mean, I would love to have like a comfortable life, like everybody else, but I don't want to be a millionaire. I don't want to be a billionaire, you know, like that. I'm really not interested to have a kingdom. I would actually be scared to have like a lot of responsibility, I'm not gonna lie, you know. And when I came to Auckland and I met the Hare Krishnas, I was completely like, why should I get to work? Why should I get a job? To make money? Make money for what? To survive? Why would you survive? What would you live for? You know, so that was not a depression, but that was like a bit of despair, yeah, just like not knowing. And so when the Hare Krishna came around and they were like, oh, by the way, this is the logical reason for gods. You know, you're going to reincarnate and you're never going to die. Like, that was some realization, and suddenly life had a purpose. And so a door opened, and I just, took a leap of faith.
Yeah, but how you landed in New Zealand? You already decided from Australia that you have to come to New Zealand to...
Yeah, my idea was like, I'm going to go in Australia, party, after I'm going to go in New Zealand, visit the all beautiful country, go back to Australia, find a job and stay there for the rest of my life. But seems like the Lord, like, I had to stay here, and I stay here for the Hare Krishna. After that I changed my faith, I became a Christian. To stay here, and
So I wanted to ask you how that happened. So after spending like 1.5, 2 years in the ashram,
a year and a half, you know. After a year, a few things started to happen. The conception of God with Hare Krishna, I could not agree with, and I still don't agree with, and that was a constant source of tension with others, because I would just like try to figure out the things out of my mind. I'm more confused now, even like if all that time passed, guys. Me looking for God, I'm more confused now about what and who God is than before. But I have more answer than, like, more you dig, more you know what you don't know, basically. And at that time that was really confusing, and that was so as I say, I would argue with Bajra, so that was the guys who own the ashram, and I would be like, nah, that's not possible, guys. You know, like all this philosophical like explanation and blah blah blah. I will go on and on and on. I will argue, and that would actually be dangerous because I will put all the people faith, you know, in
and the relationships you feel is more important, I think.
That's way more important. And what happened is like. I watched a documentary about this guy called Chico Xavier, who was a really powerful medium and a saint. This guy is basically a saint, sent on earth like 1920, 1930, he born around that, and he was on earth for like 90 years. And he was a Christian guy who talked about like what he was doing, and the whole documentary was just about, of course, his life, and particularly one book called The Book of the Spirit was writing in French by a French guy called Allan Kardec. He didn't write it, but he just compiled it and make it nicely, and it was teaching from spirits. And I could not get out the book of my head, and we just talk about the book for 1 minute, you know, and I would go around, live my life, and I need to read this book, and I would go to bed, I need to read this book, you know, and I would just like do something random, like wash the dishes, I need to read this book, on the street, I need to read this book. So, you know, it's just like, okay, I'm gonna read that book, you know. So I order it. First I found the PDF on my phone, and I started reading it, and when I read it, my mind went like when I read the Bhagavad Gita, my mind was like, but that time was just
more expanded.
Way more expanded, even if like the richness and the wisdom inside the Bhagavad Gita is insane. That book was a delight for my brain. I was just like, I was overwhelmed. I was so happy to find it, and from there on, at 360 degree, I went back to Christianity. And I could not deny my faith. I was like, I need to follow Jesus Christ, and that was it. I found it, and that was a bit hard because there is not really like a lot of spirit. It's not like the Hare Krishna have this incredible, you know, like community. You know, the Hare community. You know, you're all together, you eat together, you dance together, you know, you do like they do everything together. You know, like we took shower together. You know.
You
know, we're like exactly. No, kidding. And spiritism, the thing is like, maybe I think there's less than 100 people in New Zealand. There's a lot more in Brazil, and there's a lot more in France. But yeah, so that was a bit difficult to pass to this community to make this. But that was being authentic. I was being authentic with myself.
Yeah.
From moving on. You know what I mean? And just like, this is my path, and I cannot deny it. So yeah.
What is spirit? What is spirituality according to you? What do you feel?
You need to believe in something. You definitely need to believe in something. Because if you don't believe in something, you're just a theist and nihilist, and that can only lead to destruction and denying of responsibility. You know, so basically you just end up being a slave to your senses and to your desire, and fair enough, is that the way you want?
And yeah, even I believe like a lot of Stoic philosophers from Greece, means I was reading a lot of Stoicism
since that, yeah.
So I just discovered like a whole bunch of, you know, a lot of new philosophers, and like, oh wow, I was just blown away by
those Greek guys were powerful.
The difference or similarities between a lot of culture and religions, like especially Bhagavad Gita and the wisdom which they have shared, so it's kind of very similar.
Oh, completely. Like there was few things in the Hare Krishna I was actually kind of mocking, because they talk about, like, for example, like in the highest abode of Lord Krishna, you have is the highest top devotee, or the what is the highest top devotee? You know their name. The girls.
Gopis?
The gopis. So the highest devotee of the Krishna are the gopis, and actually basically the girlfriend and wife of Krishna. Well, you know that, but in case people don't know it. And I was mocking that because I thought that was like sensual or sexual, you know, and I was like, no, God cannot act like this. And so I completely pushed that aside, ridiculized it, you know. People would tell story about the copies. I was just like, yeah, well, whatever. And when I came to Christianity, I read the Bible, and there was this weird passage. If you read it for the first time, I was really disturbed of. Basically, we are the bride for Jesus Christ, and we're waiting to get married with Him and get married with God. And I was just like, I was disturbed, man, beyond like you can imagine, because I was like, they're right. They're right. The Hare Krishna are right, you know. Just like two different. We talk about two different things. We talk about the Christians and we talk about the Hindus. So like the two of them are completely like it's so different and it's the same. And so yeah.
Yeah. And would you like to share any final thoughts, any message which we missed? I haven't asked you in this conversation, or
putting my effort into the work of others, like reading what has been written, like reading the sacred text, putting myself into this and be authentic, really being authentic with yourself and being honest,
honesty, according to
you know, like really you feel like it's like this, just do it, because the reward will be on the other side, you know. Just being honest with that, with others, with yourself, and particularly with the Lord. If you're following a spiritual path, don't be ashamed because you already know about it. You don't tell Him anything new, you know. It's really shared with that, and that will bring you a lot of things.
Yeah,
you know.
Perfect. And yeah, you can share any joke if you want to.
Share any joke, no.
Or something interesting in French, like a joke in French. Maybe.
Joke in French? No, I only have.
French viewers.
I've been raised in a really like South, like funny family, and we have only dirty jokes, so I don't wanna.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Yeah, it's crazy. It's pretty cool. Hello. Hey. La moustache. So you can see I'm French and I grew a moustache. That's like, you know, that's so cliche. But the moustache go well on me, so I keep it presentable and sexy, you know what I mean? Like, hey, like.
I hope you guys liked this episode, and we will release the part 2 of this episode as well. In the episode there was some more content, and Jules started asking me some questions which I, answered, and I thought why not, I should include that in the conversation, but I will release it in the part 2. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching this episode. If you really like this episode, you can give us a like and you can subscribe to our channel. If you want to be a warrior, if you want to stop procrastinating and act on your ideas, if you think organic natural is better than the chemical, if you have a solution mindset, and if you are open enough to listen to great conversations without being judgmental, if you want to have an open mind and you feel love, compassion, and connecting with others is the answer to what I will say, brainstorming is the way. Cheers.